Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to cloud test lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
Okay. So let's take an example where you are planning to book a ticket. You log on to websites like cleartrip.com or Kayak, for example. And there are like airlines A, B, C. Maybe this is ETR. This is some other airline, British Airways. So basically, you are you are able to view the prices of all of these airlines. Okay. But do you understand architecture in these? All these airlines will basically have their own. So yeah, this is suppose airline A, this is their database 1. This is say database of airline B, and so on. So basically database, so if I am suppose ETR Airways, I have my own database. And database 2 will be the database of, oh, you guys can't see the Excel sheet? Oh, okay. Now there's some problem out here. I don't know why you guys can't see. Can you see it now? One second, I'm just trying to work it out. There is some problem with the WebEx server. Let me just drop by and let me rejoin once. Just give me a second. Basically, let's try to understand this from the ground level. Let's take 3 airlines for now. We can take an airline like suppose let's take British Airways. Let's take Lufthansa. And let's take an airline of your choice, maybe ETR. So yeah, let's take Delta. Somebody said Delta. Let's take Delta. So basically, just consider yourself to be an airline, like you are the owner of this airline company, and you have your own say database where you basically know what are the tickets available, what are the tickets sold, whom have you sold the tickets to, which is a seat allocated, which is a seat empty. But when you log into something like kayak.com or makemytrip.com or cleartrip.com, on this website you can actually see the prices, you can actually see the available tickets, you can actually see which ticket is booked, which seat is booked and which seat is not booked. How is this possible? Now just try to understand, these three airlines have the separate databases, but they actually allow someone like a makemytrip.com or maybe a cleartrip.com to actually extract the data from their databases. Why do we extract the data? Is this clear? Guys, I need feedback from you guys, please. So that, okay, so they extract the data so that they can actually show you the data. Okay, Lufthansa has so many seats available. Delta Airways has so many seats available from this destination to that destination. So basically, you can actually see airline details. You can see the schedule. You can see everything. So you can see whatever these respective airlines provide in a single website. So that is how they extract the data. So this is why we extract. So why we extract is clear. Is clear, is it? Okay. Now let's suppose you extracted the data. Now let's consider a scenario where there are three vendors again. One is British Airways. Now British Airways says I'm going to use Oracle as a database. Lufthansa says I'm going to use MySQL as a database. And then Delta says I'm going to use some other new database technology as my database. But MakeMyTrip.com cannot keep three separate databases for everyone. It's difficult for him to actually keep three separate databases, maintain each of them. So what does MakeMyTrip.com do is, he actually calls the ETL tool. The ETL tool goes there, like Informatica comes in between over here. It says to BA, give me your data, says to Lufthansa, give me your data, Delta, give me. So it extracts the data from them. It basically transforms the data. Now what happens is, assume that like Oracle, MySQL and DB2 for example, these are three databases. Now all three databases have different format of storing the data. For example, the date attribute is stored in different formats in MySQL and Oracle. And assume your MakeMyTrip.com is an Oracle data warehouse. It's a data warehouse appliance provided by Oracle. So it will understand Oracle's SQL concept. It will understand Oracle's format of storing the data. Is this clear? Okay. So when it understands Oracle's format to store the data, it's like BA is speaking English, Lufthansa is speaking French, and Delta is speaking German, but all the data needs to be stored in English. So what do? You put a translator in between. So translator basically extracts the data from the sources, which is English, German, and French, transforms it into. So basically, transformation would be conversion. Some transformation and there is converting French to English, converting German to English, and then loading all the English sentences into the final database. So converting all the database data into Oracle format and loading it into MakeMyTrip.com, which understands Oracle. Is this clear now? How ETL happens? Anybody has any doubts? Please go ahead right away. Any doubts? Great.
So I have a doubt. It's like very basic. So in general, I'm just confused with this word using warehouse, because in general language, like not related to software, we use warehouse for the storeroom.
Yeah. Okay. Like it's a very nice question. So I'll tell you what is basically a data warehouse. This was an example where I gave you where you're using data warehousing to integrate data from various platforms. Since you were starting up, I had to take very simple examples. But now let's talk about a real world practical example of data warehouse. Thanks for the question, so that I can move on to this example. It was a nice starter. So yeah, so let's take an example where you are working in Goldman Sachs. Okay. Now you are supposed to do an analysis stating and the analysis is something like you're trying to predict a trend of data, like a particular stock, for example. A particular stock shows seasonal behavior. So now a particular stock, when like for example, when you go for shopping, you can see that winter clothes are generally costlier in summer season. So basically, you know such trends from the data. So how do you know that? Because you as a human being have seen this trend in the past. You have such relations established in your mind. For a computer to establish such relations, you need data. You need historical data. Now, historical data is like huge amount. They're like millions and trillions of rows. So you need something which can actually store this huge data, historical data, and we store it in a warehouse. Warehouse is basically a collection of historical data. Is this clear? Everyone. Ma'am, did I answer your doubt? Why do we call it as warehouse? Warehouse over here means collection of data, historical data.
That is also database, right? Database is also a collection of data.
Yeah, there are some differences between a database and a data warehouse, which will get covered in like the next few slides. So that's there on the card. Just give me some time. At the end of the class, that will get clear. May I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, great. So, could you just explain the last one? I didn't get it. The stock and the seasonal behavior. Could you just go to one? Thank you. Okay, so when let's take that example again. A particular stock, for example, Apple shares, they generally go high when they're approaching like September, when there's an Apple release coming in. This is a trend that you and me realize, so we can actually see that happening. So basically, from what happens is basically this doesn't happen from year and year. So when they're just focusing on one share, it's easier for us to remember. But imagine there are like 3,000, 2,000 shares. Which share will go up in which season? That is something which we want to understand. So we use the help of a computer to understand that. When we say we take the help of a computer to understand that, what we do is we see the historical data of that particular share and plot a graph, for example. Is this clear? And using that graph, we understand that the share is going up or down.
Yeah, I got that.
Now for the data to come into a data warehouse, from where the data is getting extracted. Now this is the phase where you are actually extracting data and plotting a graph. But to get the data, you need to do ETL. You need to extract the data, get into the data warehouse, and then only you can plot the graph. Is this clear? Yeah, answer your doubt.
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead now then. So let's go back to the slide. Can you get the slides again? Please confirm. Anyway, can you guys see this slide? I've started the slide again. Can you guys see? Okay, great. So yeah. So the way we talk, source system goes to the ETL layer where we extract, transform, and load the data. The data goes into the repository, and then we have reporting tools, where we can actually view the data. Is it clear? Yeah. It will get into it will be data warehouse related format that in which we store the data. Like for example, if a data warehouse is from the vendor called as Oracle, then you have to stick to Oracle compliance. Is this diagram clear, everyone? This is very. I should like. Yeah, go ahead.
So just to be clear, the source system, just to relate with the previous example, the source systems would be the Delta database, the LUF database, and then the.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Explaining well.
Yeah. So just to relate to the previous example, the source systems here on this slide would be the Delta database and the LUF database. And the data and metadata repository layer would be the makemytrip.org, and the process of getting the data from Delta database to the makemytrip, whatever it is, that's the process is called the ETL, right?
Yeah, perfect. And then can you just go ahead and explain the presentation layer as well?
Yeah, the presentation layer is where we would see the tickets, the schedule and the all the information that we see on the website, right?
Guys, what's your name, man?
Manoj?
Yeah, so everyone, Manoj has explained it very well. Is this clear now? Manoj, can you repeat it once again for the class?
I mean, just to relate to the previous example that we just covered, I mean, the source systems would be the Delta database and the LUF database, and the process of getting the data from the Delta database, for example, into makemytrip.org or whatever website is called the ETL. That process is called the ETL, and all the things that you would see on the website makemytrip.org would be the presentation layer, basically, right?
Yeah, perfect. So can we go ahead? Is this clear now? ETL is the middle layer where you actually extract, transform, and load the data into your warehouse. Okay, great. So now there was a question: what is the difference between a data warehouse and a database? So here is the answer. When you talk about operational databases, guys, go on mute. Yeah, great. So yeah, there's something called as operational database. Ravi, go ahead with your question. Ravi, I'll talk about the HTML. Okay, let's take that right away. So Ravi had this question: what is this HTML report? Ravi, when you log into MakeMyTrip, or when you view your order status on Amazon, for that example, what you're viewing is basically an HTML report. The report is exported in the form of an HTML file that you'll be able to access. Is this clear? Now, what is flat file data? Flat file data is basically spreadsheets. If you see spreadsheets over here, a lot of organizations store data in spreadsheets. Extracting, like there's an application which stores data about you in a spreadsheet. Now you use that spreadsheet and actually pull that data into database, and that's why spreadsheets is generally used in the source section, where CSV format is one example of a spreadsheet. Flat file can be TXT, CSV, XLS, XML, anything. So flat file is a superset of CSV, XLS, everything. Good, let's go ahead. Thanks. So yeah, there's something called as application-oriented databases. Now let's take an example of an application-oriented database. Let's take an example of Amazon again, let's take an example of a bank itself, as it's mentioned over here. So basically, bank has multiple departments. One is the saving department, one is the credit card department, other is the loan department. So there are various departments in a bank. So within a bank itself, there are various databases. So one database. Now why do we need various databases? Now when you talk about saving accounts, a lot of queries are being fired. When you talk about credit card accounts, a lot of queries are being fired. Guys, you can't see the slides. Guys, can you see the slide? What can you see on the slide? Can you see something called as application oriented?
Yeah, now we can see.
I'm so sorry. There's some goof up happening at the WebEx end. I'm trying to manage, but
Yeah, now we can see the slide. The
okay, great. So okay, what I was saying was basically in a bank, there are sections like loan section, there are sections like savings section, there are sections like credit card section. Now for each and every one of this section, there is a dedicated database. Why do we need a dedicated database? Just imagine there are thousands of queries being fired on the savings section. So you don't want the thousands and lakhs of queries to impact your credit card transaction. You don't want a credit card transaction to take 1 hour to complete. So you want these, operational specific database. My database is meant to do this one particular task. So it is for credit card only. So all credit card transactions will be directed toward the credit card database. All savings related transactions will be directed towards the savings database. Is this clear? Why do we do that? So these are your operational databases. On the other hand, you have something called as a data warehouse. For example, now let's take an example of a customer. A customer in the bank would be a customer who is actually subscribed for a savings account. A customer would also be a customer who is actually subscribed for a credit card account. A customer could also be a guy who is actually applied for a loan. So basically, a customer spans across all three departments: credit card, loans, and savings. So you integrate the data from these departments and load it into a data warehouse. So the customer table of a data warehouse would have all the data of all the customers from credit card department, loans department, and saving department. Is this clear? This has to be crystal clear. Anyone who doesn't understand this? Anyone who doesn't understand this? Okay, anybody who wants to repeat it on my behalf? Anybody who wants to give it a try? Okay, so I'll repeat it since nobody wants to.
I can try, Ankit.
Go ahead.
So what I understood is that database is actually the collection of information for different business departments or domains. I'm particular to this example. While data warehouse comes in picture when we need information or data to be extracted from those different departmental databases.
Perfect. So what's your name?
Manjari.
Okay. Everybody, anybody has a doubt after C explaining it? I'll just repeat it once again for my end. The way she said, now let's take an example again, loan, saving, and credit card. You have a customer. I am a customer who took loan. Manju is a customer who has a savings account. And let's take an example of Priya. For example, she has a credit card account. We all three are customers in this bank. Okay, so when the bank executives wants to see what all are my customers, what all are the customers in the bank, he'll actually have to integrate the data from loan, savings, and credit card department. He'll have to integrate the data from loan, savings, and credit card department into a center. So if he doesn't get it into a center place, he'll have to query 3 different databases at a time, which is basically a toxic task. First of all, these are transactional databases. These databases have a lot of queries firing on them anyway. You're actually accessing your savings account databases every now and then when you go to net banking. So imagine how many people are actually accessing this database. On top of where your objective is to reduce the load on this database. So rather than reducing the load, if you are actually firing queries of reports also in these databases, you are basically loading the databases. Loans, savings, and credit are separate databases altogether. That is something which needs to be very clear. And we integrate data from these databases into a central data warehouse. Now is it clear? It should be very clear by now. Folks, please tell me. Awesome.
Ankit, here, can I just ask one thing?
Go ahead, go ahead.
So we can say that this data warehouse is dynamic, right? It's not, it keeps changing depending upon the queries we are making or the needs of the business.
I don't know how to answer this question as such, but okay. So it is something like this. It's not dynamic in nature. It shows historic data, but it updates itself every day. So basically, the old data which is there, it's already there, with adding new data again. So I say it's updating rather than being dynamic.
Okay, yeah, updating I meant, yeah. I understood.
So it's updating itself again and again. Like now we'll talk about this also in a while, but since we have got this off right now, let's try to clear it right now. What happens in a data warehouse is basically something like this. You know, at times when you place an order, you see your order will get reflected in next half an hour or in 1 hour. Did you ever notice something like this? Like, you know, immediately when you're viewing your order or the report of the order, or for example, immediately when you're viewing the FedEx app, let's take an example of Amazon again. You place an order on Amazon and you're given a tracking ID. If you immediately check that tracking ID on FedEx, you get nothing. You will get nothing on that. So what do? The reason for that is basically the data from the Amazon system has not yet been updated into the FedEx system. Why is that? The reason for that is a data warehouse is periodic in nature. What you do is, it depends, it's subjective to how companies work. So some companies update their data warehouse every 1 hour. Some update them every 3 hours. Some update them weekly. Some update them daily. Some update them every 5 minutes. So due to that, you know, what does a database do? It extracts the updated information from the OLTP system, which is your database, which is online transactional processing system, and loads it into a data warehouse, which is also known as online analytical processing system or a decision support system. OLAP is online analytical processing system. Okay, so you get that data from, that is why you see that lag. So this is how, this is why we say it's updating in nature. Is this clear, man? Anybody else has a doubt in this?
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website h2kinfosys.com. On our website h2kinfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.